Bill, thanks for coming on. We just heard a little bit from you at your media conference earlier today, but can you give us a bit more of an insight into just how tough it was, firstly, to make the decision to drop DCE and then, of course, to have to make the phone call as well?
Yeah, obviously, we don't take these decisions lightly, Em, and I made sure it was the first decision, and the first phone call that I made. I didn't speak to any other players before I spoke to Daly. I felt he deserved that respect, and it was actually a phone call that was had a whole heap of class and character about it. The way he took the news, we had a great conversation after I delivered the news to him. And that was in and around his Origin career and what he's done in this jersey, and that doesn't change. He's helped lift this shield, 3 out of the last 5 series, and he's been a great leader. He's been a great player and a great halfback for the Queensland Maroons, and that'll never be forgotten.
Billy, all the players come into the camp at some stage today. How have the squad taken the news that Daly won't be there? I'm assuming every player in this current squad, they haven't played a game without Daly Cherry Evans.
Yeah, it's actually a good question, Cam, and something that we haven't even touched on as yet. So only players arrived, around about lunchtime today. So, over the next couple of days, obviously there's been some changes within the team, but at the same time, we need to change some things that we didn't get right in game 1. That's the priority for this group now. It's not so much about who's not here and the changes that are on the team sheet. It's more about the actions that we need to change to make sure that we play our best football on Wednesday week.
Billy, you brought, I know you haven't named your team yet, but Corey Horsburgh's in the side. You were beaten pretty convincingly through the middle in game 1. Are you bringing him in to try and stiffen that up there?
I just think Corey has earned the opportunity to get back into this squad. He got himself nice and fit over the off-season, which he was when he played for this footy team. And he's doing plenty right. I just heard Gus talking about the Warriors and the Raiders. Well, Corey's been instrumental in the Raiders' form this year, and he's even held Big Papa on the bench at times. So. He's doing a great job, and we just feel that he's earned the opportunity.
Billy, first of all power to you, mate. It's a very big decision, but you're in a position that takes big decisions, and you've shown a lot of courage to do it. The question I've got is, at what point did you know such drastic change was necessary? It was a gut feel you had during the game, after the game, or just in deliberation over the last couple of weeks before you got the selection? Was there a point where you knew this decision had to be made?
Yeah, like Gus, been in this position, you take all these decisions incredibly careful and with a lot of thought, a lot of consultation with people whose opinion that you respect and you value, and then the decision wasn't actually made until yesterday. So that was the time that I notified Daly, and you obviously have an idea of what you'd like the team to look like, but it wasn't made until yesterday officially.
All right, well, I'll go this way. So what does Tom Dearden give you that you didn't think Daly Cherry Evans could?
Well, I'm sure you've watched Tom Dearden play a fair bit, Gus. He's a wonderful player in his own right. He's probably in the form of his career. I really like the way that he's actually taken control up there in Townsville, moving into the number 7 jersey. And the great thing about this footy team, with Tom Dearden, is that he's going to get a lot of help in and around him with the key positions that we do have. So, we just want Tom to be Tom, and if he does that we're going to be a pretty handy footy team going forward.
All right, well, for Tom Dearden or Daly Cherry Evans, or even if you brought back Jonathan Thurston or Cooper Cronk, they're going to find it hard to function given the way your middle forwards went in that game and the way they were dominated. Isn't that where the game starts for you in this game?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the areas that I spoke about before in terms of, we've got to change some things to help us get our best footy on. The other thing, Gus, is we gave 3 penalties, a 7-tackle set, and we dropped the ball on play 1 in the first 10 minutes. So that makes it extremely hard, and it helps the opposition get their footy going and make them feel good about their game. So we want to try and rectify that as well.
Senior just named a squad at the moment, Billy, rather than name the team. There's a vacancy now for the captaincy. Have you got a front runner in mind?
Yeah, we're very fortunate, Cam, that we've got quite a few club captains, but even outside the club captains, we've got quite a few great leaders within our footy team. And, you know, that decision will be made tomorrow when we name our side 1 to 18, or 1 to 20 for that matter. And, you know, that'll obviously be a new captain. But at the same time, that new captain will have a whole heap of support around him. So it'll be a proud moment for one of the guys when we name them captain, but at the same time, they've got some great leaders in this footy team that'll support them. What
about preparation for this one? You've been coach of the Maroons when they've had to travel over to Perth, Game 2 of 2022, I believe it was. Not a great result for the Maroons that night. Have you made some changes with your preparation and your travel? Yeah, we're actually going over a little bit earlier, Cam. So that was obviously made months ago, the idea to go over a little bit earlier and settle in and have a couple of sessions over there. But we have to do it the long way now. We've got to go to Perth, keep the series alive, and then we've got to go to Sydney. I actually don't mind the long way. We've been taking a few shortcuts of late, so the long way suits us.
Oh, Bill, we can't wait to see you over there next week in Perth. Enjoy the build-up, and thank you so much for coming on here to 100% Footy.
Pleasure. Have a good night.
Billy Slater there. Gus, gee, grilled him.
Well, look, you know, I've said I wouldn't have dropped Daly Cherry Evans, but I respect his right to do that. He's the coach. He's got to make the big decisions, and I think that's why he's going to be a great coach. As time goes on, people are going to realise he's a great coach and he's a great knowledge of the game. So I respect his right to do that, and it's a big call. Yeah. I'm just wondering what Dearden can provide that Daly Cherry Evans couldn't, because Dearden doesn't play the Cherry Evans role for his club side. Now he's got to walk into Origin when they're 1-0 down in the series against a very good New South Wales side. And I don't think any halfback, let alone a rookie, is going to function behind a forward pack that was beaten up as badly as them. I think
that's the best point you raised, Gus.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have mattered who. They had JT.
Exactly.
At halfback, their forwards were totally dominated. They were on the back foot constantly. They were coming out of their end. I know DC probably didn't kick as well as he wanted to, but they're on the back foot the entire game. The entire game, the Blues forwards dominated.
On the other side of that is me thinking, all right, well, if that happens again, and it happens again, Daly Cherry Evans, at his stage of his career, is far better equipped to deal with that than throwing in a kid now and having to deal with that if it happens again. If New South Wales dominate in the forwards again and Dearden can't get into the game, how's that going to affect him in his development as a player going forward? That's just, I look at it the other side as well, you know.
Cam, for you as a Queenslander, what do you see that Dearden brings that potentially gives us a bit of an insight into why Billy went that way?
Well, I think you know, the energy that he plays with, and that's just a natural thing with age difference, right? So Daly's 36. He's the oldest player to ever play Origin. Tommy Dearden's, mid-20s? So he plays with a different level of energy. They play completely different styles of game, as Gus just spoke about. As everyone does as you get older too. Your game evolves, it changes. You don't have the energy that you once had as a young man. You know, so I think that's what Billy's looking for out of Tommy Dearden in this match. When he has the ball in his hands, he's not afraid to take the line on. He's not afraid to get tackled. He's not afraid to get bumped, going deep into the line to try and promote the ball, you know, to guys like Kalen Ponga out wide. Just try and spark something in attack. Completely agree with Gus and Gal with you know, where this game is set up, and it's in the middle. It has to be. It has to come from Tino. It has to come from Pat Carrigan. It has to come from Mo Fodawaker. Those guys that start in the middle, they have to give Ponga a chance. They have to give Munster a chance. They have to give Tom Dearden opportunities through the hard work in the middle. They can't afford to play like they did and get dominated like they did in Game 1.
And just before we leave this subject, I mean, Daly Cherry Evans, what a wonderful servant he's been for Queensland. You know, like I think, you know, we don't want this to end his career in any sort of negative way. What he's done for the Maroons has been absolutely outstanding over a long period of time.
He's a 3-time series winning captain for Queensland. Incredible. 26 matches, 20 consecutive at halfback. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Incredible career. And it's not to say that it is the final
No,
full
that's
stop
right, exactly.
as well.
Did you play a club season without playing Origin? Did you retire from Origin?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I played my last three. Gus.
seasons.
Yeah,
Why did you do that? Did you feel as though you weren't up to Origin anymore? You just wanted to play for your club?
I felt it was taking away from club footy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I reckon if I played on, so I finished up in 2017, all representative football. I reckon if I continued playing for Queensland and Australia, if you know my selection was warranted with my form,
I think you'd have been close.
I don't know if I would have been able to go as long as I did club footy.
Yeah.
That might have finished me entirely in 2018. So I think it prolonged my career a couple of years at least.
Yeah, okay.
As we mentioned, it's only a squad at this stage. Billy will name the final 17 tomorrow. Ezra Mam has been included in the squad. Only 3 games back for the Broncos after that lengthy suspension. And as we all expected, and Billy said it today, he expected to, there was some backlash. Gus.
Yeah, well, of course there's going to be some backlash. I mean, you know, people make mistakes and I'm all for second chances, but this is very, very forgiving. Very forgiving. Even playing for the Broncos is forgiving, and it's more out of need than out of deservedly so. But, you know, the past is the past. Everyone has a future. And let's hope Ezra Mam gets in there and does a good job for the Maroons.
And I think if he's eligible for selection, which he is, for me, there's no issue. I mean, I think the issue more is, as you said, the fact he's allowed to be backed by the NRL, but he's done his time.
The issue is that he's eligible.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
not that he's been picked.
But he's eligible. Yeah, that's what I mean too.
That's,
like
that's a different argument. And I've given plenty of people second chances in life. You know, I mean, that's just, I get it, but it's very forgiving of the game.
All right, so Cam, this is your predicted team.
Yeah.
In terms of the skipper, who are you going? As Billy mentioned, plenty of club captains. You've got Harry Grant.
Yep.
You've got Tino as well, Pat Carrigan.
Yep. You could even throw Cameron Munster in there as well. You know, always performs and gives his best at this level. Wears his heart on his sleeve. I think Tino. Yeah, I think he's got a great personality. He's got a great character. Never really gets flustered at all. I think that's something that's really important at this level.
What about the fact that he probably won't play 80 minutes?
Yeah, I took that into consideration. I think Billy will be okay with that. That's if that's the person that he wants to go with. He may go with someone like a Harry Grant.
Would Harry Grant play 80 minutes, or will they have Kurt Mann? Do you think he'll go?
I think Kurt Mann will be the 14, definitely for this game.
If he is, I reckon he'll start at 9.
You reckon Kurt will?
I reckon Kurt Mann will start at 9.
Every possibility.
Just to take Harry out of that tough stuff the first 20 minutes.
Well, you know, like I said in the wash-up of game 1, I've been a big believer that, you know, Harry Grant's he's a wonderful player. He's a great dummy half. At this level, though, he plays his best football when he's kept out of the first 20 minutes.
Well, you blokes know what it's like. It's awesome. I mean, it's a different level of football and a different level of physical contact, a different level of fatigue.
Yep.
And you don't want a skilled player like that exhausted in the first 20 minutes because the other side's overworking him, as they did in game 1. So I think it only makes sense to make him a weapon off the bench, where he can come into the game after 25, 30 minutes and do what he's always done from the bench. You can't do that if you've already made 30 tackles in the first 25 minutes. You can't have that impact.
Let's stop giving them ideas. They don't need any ideas.
I don't know if Billy's listening to you.
Don't give them any ideas.
Who knows?
I'm taking notes here.
We'll get a clearer...
All I know is that whatever they say they're not going to do. So I'm telling them the right thing and they won't do it. I just know. I told them not to drop Daly Terry. Look what happened. Look what happened. They went
He's
and did
smarter
it.
than all of us, Gus.
It's reverse psychology.